Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost done with Mr. Alton Cave, and as you can see there in the corner of the screen, the place where Cobalion used to be is completely empty. I don't know, maybe there's a hidden item there, maybe not. But the point is that, well, there's not much of a reason to come here unless you want to explore absolutely everything. So, what I'm wondering, though, is that why did they keep this place in the game, but got rid of places like, you know, the lost floors of the Relic Castle, Route 10? I don't know. Anyway, this guy is talking about Cobalion, who he has hunted for decades. Too bad you didn't come here 2 years ago, because you would have seen it! Well, talk about bad luck. And it's not like it's canon that the hero from the first game caught it and ran away with it, because as you saw a few videos ago, as it turns out there's not even any hidden items there, but as you saw a couple videos ago, Cobalion is still in the wild. And yeah, we saw in that same video, the deerlings all being in the, not the Weather Institute, the Seasonal Institute, sorry! I was about to do the same mistake over again. But yeah, it's funny how doing some side quests is canon and yet others aren't. So, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I wonder, as I'm just going to swap my lead to Excadrill, since Lilligant's PP is running rather low, and I think Excadrill can help me get out of this place. It's not going to be too long anyway. Oh, what we got here? Grass Gym. Well, crap. I would have liked a shard better, but whatever. Doesn't matter. So, yeah. I wonder, though, why they decided to keep this place but get rid of those other areas. I mean, if you're going to get rid of the areas that are no longer useful, well, get rid of all of them or let us keep all of them. Like, let us keep Route 10 if you are so intent on keeping this place in the game now that Cobalion is no longer here. Anyway, we are now done with Mr. Alton Cave, so we are going to be moving on real quick over to Chargestone Cave, which is, it was at least a very notorious area in the first game, because it was the point where you really noticed that the encounter rate had been really jacked up compared to the previous parts of the game and even other games. And, you know, people give Chargestone Cave a lot of shit, but it's true that everything past it has increased encounter rates. You just don't realize it because most of the time you're not in a cave and you don't have, you know, that situation where you could run into a Pokemon at every single step. But, as you will notice, they definitely toned the encounter rate down in this game and compensated by adding more areas, which was what they should have done in the first place. Anyway, as I said before, Volcarona goes in the lead, since it's pretty dominant in this place. Even Ember is going to make short work of just about every wild Pokemon in this place. So, hey, why not? Well, there's Nosepass and Boldore in there, but they're not all that common. It's mostly Joltix and Pharaoh Seeds, and also Clinks. There are Tynamos, but they're much more rare. I think it's like 2% on the first two floors and 8% in the bottom floor, which is optional. Anyway, running into Bianca here for another mandatory interruption, since, well, I would say it's been a while since the last one, but Sharon interrupted us on the way here, so that would be a lie. So this is, once again, a tutorial to the gimmick of this dungeon, which is the exact same as the first one. She's, of course, mentioning all of this in case you haven't played the first game. Either that, or because the player character is new to this place and is completely unaware of the gimmick. But, anyway, the gimmick remains the same. There are these floating stones that you can push towards these bigger stones as such, which allows you to progress through the dungeon and get to some items. And yeah, first Pokemon I run into, a Nosepass, which is going to get it's going to get in a lot of damage on my Volcarona if I keep it in there. So Gonna go with Lilligant instead, which of course is why I healed it. Never a bad idea to heal your Pokemon whenever you're given the chance, naturally. Now, since I'm in Chargestone Cave, well, it has nothing to do at all with Chargestone Cave, but since we're still going to have a little bit of downtime fighting wild Pokemon, fighting trainers, and all that stuff, let's talk about some news! So, Serebii posted yesterday that, some of the functions that, and yeah, sorry about that, that hasn't changed from the first game. If you approach the stone from the wrong direction, even if you don't really try to push it, you are going to have to wait a couple seconds just so the game can show you, no, pushing it that way won't do anything. And if you're just trying to run around the stone, it can get annoying. So, yeah, we now know part of the function served by Pokemon and Me, and it actually matched the rumors that were going around, and it's not pretty. There are a few effects, such as, well, the most insignificant one is probably random text suddenly appearing during battle, but there are other effects that that have much more of an impact on the flow of battle. For example, you are going to start evading attacks at random. You're also going to start getting more critical hits at random. You're also going to randomly... Ha! Oh my god, I love this! Sturdy kicks in, but the burn kills it. Gotta love that chip damage. But yeah, you're also going to randomly get healed from your statuses, and you're also going to randomly hold on with 1 HP whenever you take an attack. Do you notice the common point between all these things? Like the word random? Man, Smogonite must be pissed. In fact, I can sort of see it right now. It's not confirmed that it will actually make a difference in multiplayer battles, but if it does, then I could potentially see something like a Pokemon and Me clause happen or some shit, because this is all about those random effects that nobody really likes, but everybody puts up with, and then Game Freak just throws that at us. So here's to hoping that it's going to be in-game only, but somehow the more reasonable part of me somehow doubts that. And that's not all. There's one more thing that I wanted to say, and it's how Serebii describes this whole thing on the page he made about Pokemon and Me. And there's that. I have the quote right here open in a window just so I could tell it to you, just because I want to show you how absurd it sounds, okay? Let me just choose my next move. Here we go. So, and I quote, "These features range from superficial to largely beneficial for the trainer, which allows for greater strategy in battle." Greater strategy in battle! A whole bunch of randomly occurring effects that you couldn't possibly predict allow for greater strategy in battle. You know what I say to that? Ah ha 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 ha! Ah ha 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 ha! Yeah, I went there. Because let's be honest here, this is way too good for a simple, regular laugh. You just gotta have this laugh. I mean, greater strategy in battle. God damn it, Serebii. You sound like a Game Freak spokesperson saying that. Okay, but enough about that. While we're speaking of the Generation 6 metagame and how it may potentially shape up in the future, there was just one thing that I wanted to address, because I've been getting a few questions related to that, and it's the fact that those questions are, well, do you think this or that will be banned? Do you think stuff like, for example, Draining Kiss will be banned since it restores all the health you do in damage, despite being less powerful than Drain Punch or Giga Drain? Sorry about that, I was blanking out because I was sort of looking at those floating stones here to see how to handle the puzzle. But yeah, it's like, how can I possibly... Of course Draining Kiss won't be banned as a move, because, I mean, it's a pretty good compromise compared to Giga Drain and Drain Punch, but it's impossible to predict whether anything will be banned, even Blaziken. Yeah, I went there. It's impossible to know whether anything could be banned in the Generation 6 metagame, because all you're doing when you think of it that way is that you take a single component that's upcoming in X and Y and you're plugging it into the current metagame. That is not how things work. Let me tell you, if you just plug a bunch of Generation 5 Pokemon individually into the Gen 4 metagame, a bunch of them would probably be banned. Heck, a good bunch of them are already banned, especially among the Genie Trio. Crud, I get a Drillbur. I was expecting once again for a shard of some sort, because I'm gonna need a whole lot of shards later on in this game, considering that I'm gonna be needing stuff for Drain Punch and Giga Drain and all that good stuff. Yeah, I better start collecting them now. But yeah, please stop asking me whether or not I think something will be banned, because we only know a limited amount of details about the moves. We don't know anything about the stats of any single Pokemon, not even the starters or Xerneas or Yveltal. The only thing that we can do is kind of an approximation of Sylveon's stats, which, if you didn't check my blog, it would be something like 95 HP, 110 attack, 130 special defense, and the rest are going to be either 60 or 65. So, yeah, we really don't know jack all. We don't know the Pokemon's move pools. We don't know anything. I mean, sure, Topsy-Turvy, it looks like it could have some potential amazing applications, but in a way, when you stop to think about it, so did Gravity, and Gravity is little more than a gimmick right now. Well, maybe in doubles and triples it's a bit more interesting, but I don't play doubles and triples, so there's really no way to know. But I know that in singles, Gravity just isn't all that common, despite how interesting it sounds in theory. So, yeah, Theorymon, it's a really dangerous game to play, especially when we're in limbo between two generations. And okay, we got a guy who talks really fast, who likes using math jargon, and the connection between humans and Pokemon. I think we all know who it is, but let's just pretend I don't, because if there's still an element of surprise for any of you, then I would feel terrible if I ruined it now. So, as I was saying, we don't know jack about that upcoming metagame. For all we know, Blaziken could return to Overused, despite getting a Mega Evolution. For all we know, that would do about as much good as Rhydon and Dusclops evolving back in the day did. Yeah, remember the collective freakout over these? Yeah, that was something awful, and... oh, hold on a minute, I'll be back in a second. Okay, sorry about that. I heard beeping of some sort, and I thought it came from somewhere in my apartment, but I guess not, because it was probably something that came from one of my neighbor's apartments. I don't really know. I don't really care, but the noise has stopped, so at least I can finish recording this video. So, triple battle to finish us off today, and boy, I'm getting some pretty good matchups here. All the right Pokemon in all the right places. Energy Ball on Sandslash, Rock Slide on Unpheasant, and yeah, I was about to say Sandslash if Excadrill is faster than Lilligant, but it isn't, thanks to no Sandstorm. That goes without saying. Clink, of course, goes down in one hit, and if the Rock Slide connects, considering that Unpheasant decided not to use Detect, does this one even know Detect for that matter? I don't know, but my money's on probably, because they love this move so goddamn much. So, that's gonna be all for today. Next time, we're gonna keep going into this new and improved, with less random battles than ever before, Charge Tone Cave. See you next time.